If you are looking for a destination full of knowledge and ideas, the 21 sector networks are your place to go. They currently connect 924 member projects around the world. By this, they offer all 18,000 employees the opportunity to exchange and cooperate. The arising potential leads to an average of 240 activities per year, with a high number of outputs. To show you a selection of these, we want to take you on a discovery tour, traveling the world. We start in Germany at our GIZ offices in Eschborn, where the globally acting sector network NICD is based. Their workstream, Dialogue and Mediation, produced a set of info cards with a very high practical value.
The terms mediation and dialogue are very broadly used in many different contexts and project settings, and we felt the need to provide more clearer and practical examples of how programs and projects actually work on and implement dialogue and mediation. The innovative part about these info cards is that the experiences are not only presented through text, but in the middle also through a larger presentation, larger illustration of the approach, and at the backside of each info card through a QR code, which leads to further information about the project or a video.
Well, we hope that on the one hand, of course, this publication will provide information about the different GIZ approaches in the field of dialogue and mediation. But at the same time, we also hope that the publication, and in particular the illustration, which are in the middle of each project example, that they provide the opportunity to further engage, to discuss these approaches, that they contribute to interaction between the projects, and that these discussions help to further develop the different approaches.
Our next stop is Tunis. Here we can enjoy some impressions of Gomena, the sector network for governance in North Africa and the Middle East. Their workstream, Fragility and Conflict, has intensively dealt with the issue of conflict-sensitive monitoring.
The Gomena workstream, Fragility and Conflict, started its activities in 2015. As a first activity, we did a survey among AVs of governance projects in the MENA region on their challenges to work in context of fragility. You've got to know that in MENA, most partner countries are either wet or yellow, according to BMZ early crisis warning. And this requires a context-sensitive monitoring approach. Our survey showed that member projects are struggling with this requirement, although practical and easily manageable approaches exist within the region. That's the reason why we decided to organize a learning workshop on context-sensitive monitoring in May 2016 in Cairo, where we brought together colleagues from different MENA partner countries to present existing practices and to mutually learn from colleagues for colleagues, so to say.
I was one of the participants of the learning workshop. I went there because none of the projects in Tunisia had a context-sensitive monitoring system. Colleagues told me that the approach was too abstract and that they needed applicable tools. When I came back to Tunis with very concrete ideas on how to develop a context-sensitive monitoring system, I started implementing it with one of the projects I work for and then extended it to my other projects. In the meantime, other colleagues of GIZ Tunisia have also adapted the tool.
To even further wide-scale this and other context-sensitive monitoring tools presented at the learning workshop, we uploaded them in the so-called governance wiki where every colleague can access them.
Our discovery tour leads us further west to Rabat in Morocco, where we visit the sector network MENA. We will learn how their conferences have contributed to sustainable economic development in the region.
Considering the important impact of access to finance for young entrepreneurs on boosting economic growth and job creation, Financial Systems Development Workstream of the Sector Network formed a task force to organize a conference on venture finance in the region. The objective was to offer an exchange platform for public and private stakeholders, as well as colleagues coming from a variety of GIZ projects in the region. I'm sure that the event offers an ideal opportunity to learn from each other's experiences and and best practices to accelerate startups in the Arab region.
GIZ has strengths on both levels, the regional and the country level, and these regional events for knowledge exchange, they really help to materialize on those strengths. One such example is the Financial Inclusion for the Arab Region initiative, which we have launched just this year together with the Arab Monetary Fund and the Alliance for Financial Inclusion. And this regional initiative wouldn't have happened if we hadn't had these conferences.
Given the similarities among our member countries, sharing the knowledge is extremely important because they can share their success and they can benefit out of each other, and they can share their challenges and how to resolve any challenges in any implementation of their objectives.
When GIZ projects working on similar topics across the region join forces, it allows colleagues from diverse national contexts to keep in touch with each other and to follow current developments in their fields. On the one hand, this allows a continuous exchange of country experiences, and on the other hand, benefits our partners who we bring together through regional platforms such as FIARI, that has the objective and allows to work collectively on enhancing financial inclusion in the Arab world.
We leave the African continent to travel to our next destination, Bangkok. Here we get to know a joint product of the sector networks to EVAS and SNRD Asia. They have developed a SDG-oriented mapping. You are just one click away to try it out for yourself.
The basis of it was a mapping of which project in our sector network contributes to which SDG. And from that basis, we tried to develop a tool that enables people, again, to understand which other projects in the region contribute to the same SDG.
You can click your way through very easily. It's structured along the SDG goals. So whichever goal you're interested in, then you can see which projects actually contribute to this goal in one way or the other.
But in the end, it's not only about identification of other projects, but what is important is what comes after it. We want to foster cooperation between these projects in the same region, so it allows people to see what other projects work on the same topic, and then we hope that we create joint initiatives by projects working on similar SDGs or the same SDGs across the region to actually improve our work and create impacts.
I work for the water project, and water is, of course, a cross-cutting or the multi-sectoral issue. So water is, of course, relevant in all sectors. For me, not only for SDG goal number 6, which is directly related to water, but of course I can learn from agriculture, from let's say energy or transportation, for example. So it is very, very useful how I can link my work to other sectors.
My feeling is that a lot of GIZ's country portfolio are going into depths, looking into how the projects contribute to the goals in terms of the sub-targets and the indicators. And if at some point we can aggregate these results so that we have a very in-depth analysis of the country portfolios and that we can compare them, maybe that would also be very interesting to integrate in the tool.
On our next visit to Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia, we remain in the digital field. The discourse within the sector network SPA has led to a workshop on digital services in the health and social protection sector.
This particular topic, digital solutions, is gaining in prominence for a lot of our projects because of partner demands. The partners in countries are also seeing the benefits of using digital solutions. This strategic planning workshop was held successfully, and we came together to try and develop a strategic plan on moving forward, trying to streamline our experience and use this experience to help further enhance the portfolio to utilize digital solutions.
My project supports the Cambodian government to implement the so-called ID Poor program to identify poor families all over Cambodia to improve the service delivery to poor families. Right now, the ID Poor implementation is completely paper-based, meaning it's a very time-consuming process because paper has been sent back and forth between Phnom Penh and the local level. That's why we have been looking for a long time for digital solutions, how to improve our implementation, making use of new technologies. The problem was that we did not have the expertise or the experience to actually know which strategies would be best for us. That's why the digital planning workshop was so important for us, because it was a platform to exchange with other colleagues who already tested out different approaches of digital solutions and could help us to define a strategy for digital solutions which would also work for us. So now we are currently developing a digital data collection tool which will facilitate the IDPO interviews, managing the data and then further disseminating it to relevant stakeholders.
With the city of Quito in Ecuador, we reach our last destination. Here we are introduced to an interactive flash animation that has been jointly developed by the two Latin American related sector networks, Gara Alc and Red Luck.
Last year here in Quito we had the World Urban Conference Habitat 3, and in the sectoral networks of Latin America and Caribbean we decided to launch a work stream called Urban Development and Climate Change. This year we produced a product, an interactive flash, which actually shows all the contributions that our programs here in Latin America and the Caribbean have towards the NDCs and the SDGs in our countries. The main benefit, I think, is to increase the visibility of the work that we are doing on the ground in order to contribute to the NDCs and the SDGs and to show our partners how we are going to do this. I hope that this flash would also, apart from just informing about our work, really be used as a door opener to engage in debates with the partners in the countries in order to see what ways are being used in order to support their efforts to fulfill the international agendas. The multimedia flash is based on a study where we cross the NDCs and SDGs indicators in order to see how actually our programs are contributing to the NDCs and the SDGs. So in order to do that, we actually had to first learn on where we are actually contributing, and we really had to revise our monitoring and evaluation systems. I think without the existence of the sectorial networks here in Latin America, we would have simply not been able to develop such a product in such a short time with the involvement of 6 countries and more than 10 programs and projects on the ground.
After traveling the world, we are finally heading back to our offices in Eschborn. From here, the Sector Network Coordination Team provides advice on all kinds of cross-sector network issues to all employees, company-wide.
We are very happy about these nice examples. It shows us that sector networks contribute to the success of projects and helps our colleagues to manage challenges all over the world. This is exactly how sector networks are meant to be.
This, of course, also applies to the other 15 sector networks, even they haven't been part of this discovery tour. To learn about them and how you can engage in these activities, please check out the information from the internet or contact us at fachverbunde@giz.de on more general questions. We are always available to support you.